Lamine Yamal was just 17. Raphinha was fighting to prove he still belonged. Together, they led a broken Barcelona to the 2025 La Liga title, shocking everyone. From record-breaking goals to clutch El Clasico moments, their chemistry was unstoppable. But how did this unexpected duo rewrite Barca's future? The answer might surprise you. The 2024-25 season wasn't just a comeback, it was a resurrection. After years of financial meltdown, managerial confusion, and an identity crisis that left fans questioning everything, FC Barcelona stood on the edge of a cliff. Could they rise again? Or were the golden days of tiki-taka and global dominance forever gone? That answer began to shift the moment Hansi stepped into Camp Nou. The German mastermind came with a track record of precision, passion, and purpose. A man known for building relentless machines at Bayern Munich. But this was a different beast. Barcelona wasn't just any club. It was a bruised giant, carrying the weight of past greatness and the scars of recent failure. Flick knew this wouldn't be a typical coaching job. He wasn't just here to change tactics, he had to restore belief, and so he got to work. His blueprint? A bold, high-octane 4-2-3-1 system designed to bring order without strangling creativity. He called it organized freedom, and it unlocked something special. Veterans like Lewandowski and Gundogan became the spine. Young talents like Pedri, Gavi, Balde, and the electric Lamine Yamal thrived under Flick's guidance. And then there was Raphinha, the once criticized winger, given a new role and with it a new purpose. The pieces were falling into place. But then came November. The team stumbled. Points slipped. A 10-point lead vanished and Real Madrid surged ahead. Critics screamed collapse. Fans braced for another year of heartache. But Flick, he called it our storm test, and his players answered. Barcelona launched an astonishing unbeaten run, over 30 games of pure fire. They didn't just grind out results, they owned the pitch. Tactical brilliance met raw hunger. Flick's philosophy began to pulse through every pass, every press, every goal. And then came the El Clasico series. 4 meetings, 4 wins. One of them, jaw-dropping 4-0 at the Bernabeu. Not just a victory, a statement. By May, Barcelona had completed the unimaginable, a domestic treble, La Liga, Copa del Rey, and Supercopa de España. But what made it magical wasn't just the trophies, it was how they did it. No Galactico transfers, no overnight fixes, just youth, chemistry, grit, and a coach who believed when few others did. This wasn't just redemption, this was Barcelona reborn. In the 2024-25 season, FC Barcelona didn't just reclaim their crown, they were carried there by the fearless brilliance of a 17-year-old prodigy, Lamine Yamal. Born in Esplugues de Llobregat just outside Barcelona, Yamal's journey from La Masia to the grand stage of Camp Nou wasn't just fast, it was astonishing. What made his rise so captivating wasn't only the speed, it was the poise, the sharp intelligence, the calm execution under pressure that made you forget he was still a teenager. While most 17-year-olds were preparing for exams and navigating high school, Yamal was rewriting history. In La Liga, he lit up the season with 9 goals and 13 assists in just 34 appearances. Contributions that didn't pad stats but changed matches. He wasn't just playing, he was deciding outcomes. In the UEFA Champions League, he added 5 goals and 3 assists in 13 games, taking on Europe's giants without flinching. But numbers alone can't tell you what Yamal brought to the pitch. His defining moment came on the biggest stage of all, El Clasico, at the Santiago Bernabeu. The weight of the rivalry, the pressure of a divided nation, millions watching. And then Yamal struck. A stunning, curling goal that silenced Madrid and shattered the record books. He became the youngest player ever to score in El Clasico history. It wasn't just a goal, it was a message. The kid had arrived, and the spotlight didn't scare him. His playing style is a symphony of instinct and elegance. Every movement feels natural. His dribbling is surgical, his timing flawless. He doesn't simply beat defenders, he dissects them. And under Hansi Flick, he didn't just grow, he exploded. Flick didn't protect him behind closed doors, he handed him the keys. And Yamal drove Barcelona's attack with breathtaking confidence. Internationally, he was just as electric. Representing Spain in UEFA Euro 2024, he delivered on the biggest stage once again, scoring historic goals, creating plays from nothing, and ultimately helping Spain win the title. He became the youngest ever scorer in the tournament's history and was named Young Player of the tournament. The world wasn't just noticing him anymore, they were depending on him. And now, the whispers are growing louder. Could Yamal inherit the sacred number 10 jersey, once worn by legends like Messi, Ronaldinho, and Rivaldo? That number is more than fabric. It's a symbol, a weight, a challenge, one that has crushed the hopes of many. But Lamine Yamal, he doesn't look burdened, he looks ready. This isn't just a breakout season, it's the beginning of something rare. Because greatness doesn't always wait for experience, it finds those brave enough to meet it early. And Yamal didn't just meet the moment, he owned it. In the 2024-25 season, Raphinha didn't just evolve, he erupted. The player once labelled inconsistent, too erratic, too risky for Barcelona's refined system, returned as something no one expected, a leader, a finisher, a force. Once teetering on the edge of irrelevance, the Brazilian winger stepped into the storm and walked out transformed. Under Hansi Flick, Raphinha found what he had been missing: clarity. Flick didn't confine him to the sidelines, instead he gave him permission to drift centrally, where he could dictate, create and explode. No more isolation on the wings, no more waiting for opportunities. This time, he was the opportunity. And then came the numbers that shattered every ceiling ever set for him. Raphinha ended the season with 34 goals and 25 assists across all competitions, a career high that few saw coming. In LaLiga, he scored 18 and assisted 9 in 35 appearances. But it was in the Champions League that he became unstoppable. 13 goals and 9 assists in just 14 matches. These weren't just stats, they were statements. And behind each number, there was a moment. His ultimate turning point? A Champions League quarter-final against Bayern Munich. With the tie hanging by a thread, Raphinha produced a performance for the ages. A perfect hat-trick that tore apart the German defense and left the football world stunned. The final whistle blew and the score read 4-1. But all anyone could talk about was him. From there, the momentum never stopped. Mid-season, in a high-stakes El Clasico, Flick made a bold move. He handed Raphinha the captain's armband. It wasn't just about goals anymore. It was about leadership, vision, fight. Raphinha shouted instructions, defended with urgency, and lifted his team with every touch. He became a figure the locker room rallied around. Veterans nodded in approval, young players followed. And Barcelona fans, they fell in love all over again. In May 2025, Raphinha signed a contract extension through 2028, ending speculation about his future and sealing his identity as a cornerstone of the club. The badge he once feared he'd never fully earn, now it was his. By right, not reputation. Off the field, he embraced the role of mentor. He guided Lamine Yamal, celebrated others' wins more than his own, and held the locker room together during the most competitive title chase in recent memory. This wasn't just a redemption arc, it was a full-blown rewrite. Raphinha didn't talk his way into legacy, he played his way into it. Week after week, he silenced critics, lifted teammates, and reignited the fire in a team once full of doubt. Barcelona didn't just reclaim a winger, they discovered a warrior. Some duos are born by luck, others are forged through rivalry. But the connection between Lamine Yamal and Raphinha? It felt like destiny, written in football stars and revealed on the pitch. At first glance, they seemed like opposites. Yamal, just 17, brought electricity, unpredictability, and a fearless swagger. He dribbled like he was playing street ball, weaving through defenders with a smile and daring flair. Every touch felt like a spark. Raphinha, 28 and seasoned by struggle, brought grit, control, and a fire lit by redemption. He had scars, both literal and emotional, and wore them like armor. On paper, they weren't meant to complement each other. But Hansi Flick saw something the world hadn't. While pundits predicted they'd compete for the same position, Flick saw a deeper possibility and made the bold choice to start them together. Raphinha cut inside, Yamal exploded down the wing. Suddenly, space opened, movement flowed, defenders panicked, and just like that, a rhythm was born. From their first match side by side, the connection was clear. They weren't stepping on each other's toes, they were dancing in sync. When Yamal stretched the field wide, Raphinha had room to cut in and fire. When Raphinha dropped into deeper zones, Yamal soared forward with confidence. They didn't just understand each other, they anticipated each other. By the halfway point of the season, their partnership had already produced over 40 goal contributions. Fans could feel something special was brewing. In a tense 3-2 thriller against Atletico Madrid, Yamal sent a no-look pass through a tight defense, and Raphinha finished with the calm of a sniper. Later, in the Champions League semi-final against Inter Milan, Raphinha danced past two defenders before laying it off for Yamal, who curled in the match-winning goal. These weren't just highlights, they were moments of destiny. But what truly set them apart wasn't just chemistry on the pitch, it was connection off it. Behind the scenes, Raphinha became Yamal's mentor. He offered advice on handling fame, staying focused, and surviving the mental weight of the game. They trained together late into the evening, laughed through warm-ups, and talked more about legacy than likes. Yamal later told reporters, "When Raphinha plays, I feel more confident. He gives me freedom." Barcelona knew what they had. Management moved quickly. Raphinha signed a new contract through 2028, and Yamal's long-term future was quietly secured. This wasn't a fluke, it was a foundation. They didn't just carry Barcelona back to the top. They restored its identity. A fearless teen and a redeemed warrior, united by purpose, lighting up the pitch with every touch. This wasn't just a partnership, it was a prophecy fulfilled. The 2024-25 season wasn't just about winning titles, it was about defining moments. And woven through every one of them were the unstoppable threads of Lamine Yamal and Raphinha. Together, they weren't just teammates, they were the architects of Barcelona's rebirth. From the very start, it was clear something special was brewing. On August 31, 2024, Barcelona delivered a jaw-dropping 7-0 demolition of Real Valladolid. While fans were dazzled by the scoreline, it was the chemistry that stole the show. Raphinha netted a stunning hat-trick, while Yamal, just 17, picked up 2 assists, dancing past defenders like it was child's play. This wasn't luck, this was a warning shot. As the Champions League rolled in, the stakes rose, and so did they. On October 23rd, Barcelona faced Bayern Munich, the club that once crushed them in past campaigns. But this time, revenge was poetic. Raphinha delivered another hat-trick, while Yamal assisted with precision beyond his years. The final score? 4-1. But the real shockwave came from the realization. Barcelona wasn't rebuilding, they were roaring back. Then came the Supercopa España final on January 12, 2025, where all eyes turned to El Clásico. In the electric clash against Real Madrid, the duo delivered again. Yamal opened the scoring with a composed finish, and Raphinha followed with a brilliant brace, earning man of the match. The final score, 5-2. Madrid was stunned. Barcelona had fire in its veins again. In LaLiga, the fireworks continued. On October 26, the Santiago Bernabeu fell silent as Barcelona thrashed Real Madrid 4-0. That night, Yamal etched his name in history, becoming the youngest goalscorer in El Clásico history. Raphinha added a goal and an assist. Their combination was effortless, dangerous and impossible to stop. But their defining moment came in the most dramatic fashion. On May 11, 2025, with the title on the line, Barcelona faced Real Madrid once more. Down 0-2, the match looked lost, but then magic. Eric Garcia pulled one back, and then Yamal equalized with a curling strike that stunned even Madrid fans. Moments later, Raphinha struck twice, turning despair into euphoria. A 4-3 victory ripped from the jaws of defeat. These weren't just goals, these were statements. Each pass, each assist, each finish told a story of connection, trust, and unrelenting belief. Yamal's bold creativity, Raphinha's warrior leadership. Together, they didn't just light up matches, they lit a fire inside the team. Teammates followed their energy, fans believed again. And Barcelona, they became champions again. Not with Galacticos, but with soul. Their brilliance powered a domestic treble, a deep Champions League run, and most importantly, a season that redefined the spirit of Barcelona. This wasn't just a partnership, this was a legacy in the making. The 2024-25 season wasn't just another successful campaign in Barcelona's illustrious history. It felt like the dawn of a new era. And at the heart of it were two names now etched in Catalan glory: Lamine Yamal and Raphinha. At just 17 years old, Yamal didn't just impress, he captivated the entire football world. He played with the fearlessness of youth and the wisdom of a veteran. His dazzling performances earned him some of the game's highest accolades, including the Golden Boy Award and the prestigious Copa Trophy. Coaches, pundits, and legends praised him, but it was Girona's head coach, Michel Sanchez, who said it loudest: "He's already the best player in the world. I compare him with Messi and Maradona." The statement didn't feel exaggerated, it felt prophetic. Meanwhile, Raphinha's story was a resurrection. Once rumored to be on his way out, the Brazilian completely transformed under Hansi Flick's tactical vision. Raphinha emerged as a key figure in Barcelona's attack, notching 34 goals and 25 assists across all competitions. His revival was so undeniable that the club secured his long-term commitment with a contract extension through 2028, ensuring he would remain a cornerstone of their future. Together, Yamal and Raphinha led Barcelona to a stunning domestic treble: LaLiga, Copa del Rey, and Supercopa de España. But more than silverware, they restored the spirit of Camp Nou. Their chemistry on the pitch, built on respect, intuition, and unspoken understanding, reminded fans of the club's core philosophy: joyful, attacking football led by unity and brilliance. Off the field, their bond deepened into something special. Raphinha became more than a teammate, he became Yamal's mentor, helping him navigate the intense pressure that comes with rapid stardom. Their friendship showed in every training session, every goal celebration, every shared look of confidence. Even Barcelona's leadership took notice. Sporting director Deco said, "Sometimes we can feel too dependent on Lamine and Raphinha. Maybe we need to bring in similar players, a solution for them." It was a statement that underscored just how essential they had become. As the season closed, their legacy was already taking shape. They weren't just two stars, they were a symbol of what Barcelona could become again: youthful, fearless, and driven by excellence. Their journey isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. And with every match they play, they're not just chasing greatness, they're defining it. The 2024-25 season didn't unfold like any ordinary campaign. It felt like a movie. And at the heart of this story, Lamine Yamal and Raphinha. Two different paths, one shared destiny. Imagine the scene: the Santiago Bernabeu tied 2-2 and Yamal, just 17 curls in a masterpiece that silences Madrid. Weeks later, it's Raphinha's turn against Bayern Munich. He completes a stunning hat-trick. The fans erupt, the world takes notice, legends don't wait, they arrive. From fiery El Clasico battles to icy Champions League nights, these two didn't just play, they defined the season. Their chemistry wasn't forced, it was fate. Every assist, every finish, Every celebration, they were building something bigger than wins. They were building legacy. When Barcelona clinched the league, the camera caught it all. Yamal fell to his knees. Raphinha wrapped him in an embrace. No words, just a weight of triumph. A teenager the world doubted, a veteran nearly written off. Together, they rewrote Barca's story. This wasn't about stats. It was about resilience, belief, and rebirth. The kind of season that reminds you why you fell in love with football in the first place. So if their journey moved you, don't just scroll on. Hit like, drop your favorite Yamal Raphinha moment below. Subscribe and share this with every true basketball fan, because this isn't the end. It's just the beginning of something unforgettable. Vamos!